All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the replay. My name is Leisha Renice. I'm a multi-passionate creative and singer-songwriter here to encourage you to live the life of your dreams, to start the business of your dreams. And today we're going to talk about my journey as an independent artist. To all my friends over on Instagram, hi. If you want to come over to YouTube, and again, the link is in the description. In the bio, in my bio, I'm in two different places, so that you can actually hear the music when I'm playing it, because I'll be sharing some music and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'll share like the first half of what I talk about here, and then you all can join me on YouTube. So yay. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. So again, my name is Leisha Renice. I am a multi-passionate creative. And basically that just means that I do a lot of things, right? So I'm interested in a lot of things. I'm interested in music, photography, writing. But today we're just going to talk about music. So as an independent artist. So the first question that somebody might have is like, oh, what is an independent artist? And so some people don't know what that is. An independent artist essentially is a person who bootstraps everything, right? So if you're signed to a label, right, then you have some backing behind you, you have some funding, you have some, teams working with you to like work on your image or your music, resources, things like that, your wardrobe, your hair, your makeup, like you have a whole team working to put you together to make you an independent artist, to make you an artist that is like marketable. So when you think of people like Doja Cat, or when you think of people like, Doja Cat now, when you think about people like Beyonce even, right? Like these people have teams that work with her to write her music, to market her, to make sure that she's on her A game, to be the best artist that, is out there, right? And so as an independent artist, that means that you're doing all that yourself. So you're marketing, you're writing your music, you're editing it, you're playing it, you're touring, you're scheduling your own shows, all that good stuff. So there's a lot more work when you're an independent artist, right? Like there's a whole lot more work that it takes to be an independent artist, but it's way more rewarding on the other hand, because, and I'll do another video going in depth about this, but for signed artists, there's something attached to it, right? Like it's like you can't really, exactly, Marquita said a one-woman show, exactly. So like with signed artists, they have the money, right? They have, the access and stuff like that, but they also have contracts that they have to keep up, right? So if your contract says, oh, I have to create 5 albums, right? You can't do what you want. You can't create the music that you want to unless you fulfill these 5 albums. And understand that if somebody is putting in money for you to succeed in your music business, they're going to expect something back, right? So people who, invest in these artists, they're like, oh, if I'm going to give you $100,000 up front, right? But I need that money back in your sales for your album. I need that money back in concert tickets. And again, there's no guarantee that you're going to be a successful artist in their eyes. So therefore, you could just be in debt to them forever. It's a whole thing. It's a lot. But yes, for all my friends over on Instagram, please come over to YouTube. I'm going to stop this now, and I hope to see you there. All right. Yay. Okay. So yes. So when we really talk about like being an independent artist, it does sound like there's a lot of work, and there is. But again, like I said, it's more rewarding because when you're independent, you don't have to worry about those contracts. You don't have to worry about people breathing down your neck, except for the people who support your music. You don't have to worry about owing somebody something because you want to create the music that you want to create. Yay. Hi. Welcome from the States. Hi. Thank you so much for watching. And hi, Marquita. Hi, Jamile. All right. So yeah. So that's what an independent artist is essentially, like someone who just bootstraps their own thing. Like they do their own thing. And I should say that for any independent artists here, if you want to download the Independent Artist Toolkit, it's free in the description. Underneath, you can. It's for Black women specifically, but it's about helping Black women independent artists start their independent artist career. So yay. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Alicia. You go, girl. Drop them gems. What you're saying is why I never wanted to sign a record deal. Exactly. So when I was younger, and we're actually going to talk about this later on, right, in this video, but yay, come on, free. Absolutely. It's free. So please download it. It has some resources in it. Yes. Yay. Oh, hi. Welcome. So, and hello, welcome. All right. So an independent artist, like I said, is someone who creates their own thing, their own brand. They do their own makeup, unless they have friends and stuff like that they want to pay. But everything is on them. They're not really depending on a record deal or record label to promote them, to push them, or anything like that. Everything is on them. So that's what I am, right? I'm not backed by any record label. It's just me. It's my husband. It's my friends. It's us just doing a lot of stuff ourselves. And so, like I said, it takes a lot of work. However, it's beneficial. It's beneficial to me in my mind. Hi, welcome. Welcome. So if you all don't know, I'm also on Twitch. So there you go. Thank you. Hi, welcome. All right. So like I said, you're working on your image, your wardrobe, all that cute stuff, but you're also doing the hard stuff, making the music itself, marketing it, pushing it to people, to radio stations, if that's your thing, or to DJs, if that's your thing. Like you're doing all the legwork yourself or with the team that you put together yourself. All right. So yeah, so like I said, it's more work to be independent, but in my opinion, it's way more rewarding and it's way more fun because I can be everything that I want to be. When you really think about record labels, they tell you who you can be. They tell you what music you can make. They tell you who your people are. When you're independent, you determine that by yourself. Like, who are my people? Who do I want to make music for? What do I want to say? You know, what do I want to dress like? Can I post a picture today? Can I post a mixtape next week? You know what I mean? Like, you have way more flexibility. So I'm going to talk about my journey, right? So Jennifer said that she never wanted to be signed by a record deal. I did when I was younger. I loved Destiny's Child, right? Like I was a stan, like before stans were a thing. I loved Destiny's Child. And I always wanted to be in a girl group. And so I was like, I have to do my thing to get signed. I have to be out there wherever there was. Cause what did I know as like a 12-year-old, but I was like, I need to get signed. And so I was like sending, and I told my husband, I remember this today, I was sending tapes and stuff like this to record companies, hoping they would pick me up. And of course, nobody responded, but that's okay. And because I thought that was the only way to get to become like a famous musician. And back then in the 90s, in the early 2000s, like that was the only way, right? Like there wasn't SoundCloud, there wasn't Bandcamp, there wasn't all these platforms where independent artists could be, could get their following. You had to go through the record label and they were the gatekeepers. And if you didn't fit the look, the sound, if you didn't, believe what they believed, if you didn't want to promote what they wanted to promote, or if you didn't dress the way that they wanted you to dress, you couldn't get a deal. And so that kept a lot of people like underground. Like, so you have like underground artists who weren't signed. Marquita says, independent artist is an artist in control of their own content. Exactly. Precisely. Exactly. So I always wanted to sing. I knew that I always wanted to sing and write from when I was like a child before I could read. I wanted to sing. And like I said, my idols at the time were Destiny's Child. But before then, I had family who sang. My mother sang, my auntie sang, my grandmother sang. I came from a musical family, and not in terms of like, oh, they play instruments, but they use their voice as their instrument. So I remember going to my grandmother's church and she would be sitting there and leading worship, even when there wasn't a piano player, using her voice, like to lead the worship, using hands and feet to like make the beat, right? So I was very familiar with making music, even though it wasn't like technical training or, I didn't go to Juilliard or wherever people go to study music. Like I studied music in my everyday life. My mother sang with a chorale, like she sang with a chorals ensemble. That's what it was, the chorals ensemble. And so she sang with them. My aunt sang with them. My other aunt sang with them as well. And my grandmother sang. And so I was always around music. My parents listened to music all the time when we traveled, and we would harmonize together. My dad was a tenor. I was an alto. My mom's a soprano. So we'd harmonize all the time. And so I'm getting all this training without knowing that it's training, right? Like, I don't think that this counts. Like, no one is going to say like, oh, you have so much training, but we really discount the training that we really have. I really feel like people, especially who grew up in the church or grew up in like a musical setting, these people have a lot more training in the ear for music without even having the words for it, right? Like it's just a feeling. It's just like something that's understood. And I feel like growing up as a child, that musical part like of life was just understood. We didn't really talk about, nobody could read music, right? We couldn't read music. My aunts, my mother, nobody, but we understood it. And so I didn't look the part, I didn't sound the part, but I was always singing. So I also started writing my own songs when I was younger. I would take, like I said before, we had a Casio piano, and they would have a song bank, and the little keys would light up where you're supposed to play. And instead of playing along, I just wrote songs to that music. My mother also had a book of songs on the stand, and I couldn't read music. It was supposed to help you to learn to read music. I wasn't interested in that. But with the words, I rearranged them, right, to fit songs with my own chords. So I was working on arrangement before arrangement was like, I even know what arrangement was. Like I saw the lyrics, I kind of knew some of the songs, and so I made it into my own thing. So like I said, growing up, I sang everywhere. In the choir, shout out to Marquita, Largo High School Choir, we sang. I sang in my church, I sang in college, and I think when I was younger, I was way more bold. I was way more sure that I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be an artist. But as I got older, I started feeling like, oh, this might not be a viable option for me. Like this might not be a thing, because everybody's telling me, oh, you got to get a real job. You can't You can't just be out here as an artist. Like, it's embarrassing, right? Like, you know, if you're going to be out here chasing your dreams and you got to live with your parents, like, that's what was sold to me. So I kind of tucked this away. And I wanted to like try out for things like American Idol. Like, these were the only things that were really shown. Like, oh, this is how you make it. This is how you become an independent artist. And so I was watching American Idol. I don't like competition. I hate it. I believe that we can all win. We can all eat. And so just the idea of like competing with somebody else based on their gift and their abilities didn't sit well with me. I'm also not interested in competing and becoming an American Idol, if that makes sense. And I also understood, now looking back, now I understand more, even with places like American Idol or The Voice or America's Got Talent. What are some other song shows? Anyway, that whole like group of shows, they have a look and sound they're looking for. At the end of the day, they're looking for something marketable, right? And so I know that my sound is not very marketable, right? I know that my sound, even in church, like I thought that I had to sing gospel music because I'm a Christian. And so like, I was like, how am I going to write Christian songs? I can't wail and holler like everybody else. Like, and I think it's beautiful. Like, I'm not even clowning people who do that. I think it's wonderful, but that's just not my gift. And so in the same way, how I felt in church, I felt with the American Idol stuff, like, oh, you know, I would try out, but I don't want to embarrass myself because I don't really fit this mold that they're looking for. You know what I mean? And so I just kind of tucked away that dream and was like, all right, maybe later I'll figure out how to work music in there somewhere. Maybe I'll just teach it. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'll just like get a job. And I applied for jobs like in churches. Oh, maybe I could be a choir director, right? Like maybe I can use music in this way. But I always knew I wanted to be a musician. I just didn't know how. So fast forward to college. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer says, yes, her body was her instrument. You're an alto like me. Yay. You were home trained. Exactly. You were home trained. Yes. And that's training. Like that counts. Just because you don't have a degree that says music on it, it still counts. You're telling my story as well. Yes. I'm glad that I'm not alone. And I know that there are other people here that, that feel the same way. So I'm glad I'm in good company. Seriously. So yeah, so fast forward to college, I joined the choir because what else am I supposed to do? I'm Christian. I like singing. Let's do it. Like, let's go join the choir. And even in the choir, I knew that there was something a little different. You know, like I wasn't super churchy. Like I didn't really grow up. Like I grew up in the church, but I didn't grow up in church. Like if you're Black, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like I didn't really grow up with like some people like, oh yeah, I grew up Kojic or I grew up Pentecostal, whatever. Like my dad was in the Navy, so we would go to church on base. And so they would have like this conglomerate of like all Christian sects together on Sunday. And so we would sing from the hymns. Even my grandmother's church, I guess it's a Baptist church, but like we would sing from the hymns, right? So it wasn't like super, super churchy. And even with that, I think that's a whole beautiful culture, but I didn't have that, right? So I felt kind of like I don't know where I really fit in with this. And so then I would sing the songs. I got a solo in the choir. And let me go back. And in high school, when I graduated, my choir director, Mr. Murphy, shout out to him, he told me, because I think I expressed to him my frustration with my voice, that I couldn't make it be strong like other people. I couldn't make it sound like other people's voices. And he pulled me aside after I graduated and said, because we had a solo for graduation, and he was like, your voice is more jazzy. Pursue jazz music, right? Pursue jazz music. Well, guess what? I went to Towson University, which is a PWI. And I took a jazz class, but they didn't really have jazz vocal performance. And even with that, like you have to read music to get into the program. So I was already behind. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm here for ASL, American Sign Language, and that was it. Get me in and out, right? So in college, like I said, I was in the choir, and I had a solo in the choir, and it was a song. Oh Lord, we give you praise, and oh Lord, we bless your name. So I sang the lead for that, but I sang in my own way, because listening to the recording, I was like, oh girl, I can't sing like this. This is not going to happen. But I was getting my footing and even finding my own way of singing that song. You know what I mean? So even though I wasn't really appealing to the choir, I guess connoisseurs, I was appealing to the people who were more like me, who understood like, oh, you don't have to be loud to be impactful. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do all these runs and stuff like that to really mean what you're saying, like to be focused on the heart of the message of the song. So anyway, sang it in school. And when I was in college, I was studying American Sign Language, like I said, and I was writing songs in class. I was writing stories, but I was also writing songs. In my study time, I was downstairs. We had a piano in the bottom of our dorm. I would play songs. I would make up songs. Like I would write songs. Like this is really what I wanted to do. But I was like, but I got to get this degree. I can't do it. And a part of me is glad that I didn't major in music, because a lot of the music friends that I had that did major in music, they were very distraught and discouraged by their experience in a PWI being a Black person studying music, right? Because there's a difference. There's a difference on what is prioritized and what is celebrated. And sometimes what Black people, what Black bodies, what Black voices bring to the table is not celebrated. Just, just being honest. And so I was happy that I didn't major in it later on, but at the time I was like, should I major in it? And I also didn't want to interview for it. You have to like audition and read music. And I was like, girl, I ain't got time. So yeah, Jennifer says, girl, I couldn't do vocal gymnastics, but I was deeper in smooth blues. Yes. I sang jazz as well. Awesome. Yes. And I feel you on it. Like, I think, for some people, they like those acrobatics, right? They love the show. They love the fanfare. But there are a lot of artists that I like, and I like that too sometimes, right? But there are a lot of artists that I enjoy that are just like, that sing very straight, but they mean what they say. Like, they mean what they say. And that's going to resonate with me more than vocal gymnastics. You know what I mean? So there's a place for you for sure. Tell it, I'm trying. So yes. So I'm still studying American Sign Language. It took me 9 years to get that degree, y'all. That's a whole other conversation. But all the while, I was still making music. So I joined an organization at Towson's campus, and it was a Christian organization. And the person who brought me in was friends with this guy who made music. And so this guy reached out to my friend and said, hey, I'm working on this personal project. Do you know any singers? Because I need help, right? And so my friend recommended me to him. And so from that experience, I'm like, well, I never recorded officially. I'm thinking it's going to be like this, like, studio thing. I've never done studio sessions ever. Like, I just write songs on paper. I just sing when I need to, like at praise and worship. Like, even within that organization, I would sing praise and worship with other people. So it's like, it's corporate. It's not like, it's the focus is on you, right? So I obliged. I said, okay, cool. Why not? Let's try it. And especially because that was my friend who recommended me. And so I went to go meet this guy, and, we go in his bedroom. This sounds very shady. It's not shady at all, right? His bedroom was his studio. And he had like this setup with his computer and his mic and and I guess like absorber for sound. And again, I didn't study sound, but I understand like he had blankets up to absorb the sound so it didn't sound like echoey. Like, it probably sounds echoey in here right now. But he was like, yeah, here's a song. This is the words. This is the idea. I want you to sing it. And I'm like, you want me to sing it? Like, where's the direction? Tell me what to do, right? Because when you sing in choir, when you sing in all these other places, they're telling you what note to hit. They're telling you what word to say. They're telling you how, like, they're telling you to crescendo or to go soft, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're giving you direction when you're singing in a choir. But when someone hands you the paper and tells you, hey, this is my idea, do with it what you please, you're kind of like, excuse me? No, I need you to direct me. And so he's like, whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So when I tell y'all, I sat on the ground in a ball, like on the verge of an anxiety attack, I promise you, like, it's so silly. But I was sitting on the floor because I was nervous. And I felt overwhelmed because no one had ever given me that much space to play. And I didn't want to mess it up because it's somebody else's song. Like, it's not just like, this is just my song. Like, I'm having fun. It's like, no, this is somebody else's song that they're trusting me with, right? And so eventually we worked through the song. It took hours. It didn't even have to take hours, but it did because I was nervous. And he was very patient. He was like, it's okay. Take your time. And I'm sure on the other end of on the other side of the wall, he's probably like, this girl is weird, right? But he understood that I was really nervous. So we got the song done. And of course, like, when you're nervous, like, you're singing very robotically, you're not taking risks. You're just kind of like, like, let me get this done. Let me get this done. We got it finished. And so that was good. So then later on, he asked me, hey, do you have songs that you want to work on? And meanwhile, I had a whole notebook full of songs, right? That I'm just like, that are just in my head, right? That I recorded on my phone or on recorder. And so I'm like, yeah, I do. And he was like, okay, well, bring them over to the studio and we'll work through them. So I'm like, oh my God, like, this is embarrassing. These songs probably suck because they haven't been shopped or anything like that. I'm just like playing around. So he helps me get the music out of my head because I play piano by ear, right? I can't read. So I can't, like, write the notations of where the notes need to be. But I'm like, this is how it's supposed to sound. This is what I want it to sound like. This is what I'm trying to do. So he helped me get that out of my head and onto the software on his computer. And so I still haven't finished that song, but he in turn later on offered me a beat to write a song to. So I actually want to share that song with you all. And if you didn't know, the person is my husband. At the time, we were not dating. We weren't even really like friends at the time. We were just starting to get to know each other. And so me working with him was very awkward because my friend wasn't there. And then it was like, I don't really know this guy. And like, what did she say about me? Did she hype me up too much? But either way, he helped me with a lot of stuff. So the song that I'm about to play for y'all is the first song that he actually just gave me the beat for. And he was like, just write something to this, right? And so even the way that I'm singing the song is very safe. Okay. Do not expect much. It's very safe. It's very, I can tell that I'm scared. I'm fearful because I've never recorded anything in my life. So I want to share this with you all because I want to show you that, like, you know, you don't have to be perfect you don't have to be perfect to try something. So let's see. All right. So this is the track. It's called More Than You Think. Yeah, this is the album art for it, but here we go. Let me know if you can hear it as well. I'm gonna fast forward it. No sound? Okay, hold on. Let me try something else. But yes, Jennifer says, girl, you married your compliment creatively. Hello, like, because I was just like, what? Oh no. Hi, Stephanie. Okay, yeah, let me try something else. Let me remove it. All right. Share. Okay. Share audio. And then, okay. So tell me if you can't hear it, I'll figure something else out. No sound. No sound. If it's not working, I'm gonna probably ask my husband to come here and fix it. But but yeah, if you can't hear that, you didn't hear the second one either. Either way, okay. Well, we'll come back to that. But the song, basically, the way that I'm singing it is very scared. It's very safe. It's very comfortable. Okay, yeah, I'll figure something out because I have to figure that out. But either way, the song that I'm singing is very comfortable, very safe. It's not the best. Actually, let me just try to play from my phone, and that way y'all could hear it that way. But when I first recorded this song, this was the first opportunity that that I had to actually share like my thoughts on a track. And so I'm just like, okay, what am I feeling right now? And the song is very like angsty and things like that. But either way, it got across what I really wanted to say, what I really wanted to feel. And so I'm going to play it through my phone. It's going to have a lesser quality, but that's okay. You'll get the idea. But yes, also at the end of this video, I'm going to be taking any questions that you all have. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer those for you. All right. So yes, at the time, again, he was just very kind to be like, hey, you're into music. Like what, how can I help you? Right. And I really wasn't expecting that. Like, I was like, oh, that was just a one-time thing, but I was intrigued because I was like, oh, I see that to make music, you don't need to have money to go to a studio. You can build a studio yourself, right? Like you can do these things by yourself without having to spend $1 million. And for me, like no one ever showed me that it was within reach. Jennifer said, okay, stop putting down your song, baby. Oh, no, I'm not putting it down. Listen, I'm proud of that. Okay. But compared to the music I'm making now, like it's very different. Like I know listening to that song, like it's very safe, right? Like it's very like scared because I was scared. You know what I mean? I hear the fear in my voice. So let's see if you all can hear it from here. If you can't, let me know. Hold on, let's turn it up.
Scream with all my might, but no one hears. Can't tell which way's right. through all these tears. Emptiness surrounds me. People running from me, I can't see.
I'm gonna just play it to the chorus. So
ground crumbles beneath me, and I can't fly, but I won't fall. It's time you realize you're more than you think you are. Open up your eyes, no hiding in the dark.
okay.
Shouting.
Okay, so the message of the song was no hiding in the dark, right? Because that's what I felt like I had been doing for so long. Like I've been hiding my gifts. I've been hiding like and using all these excuses, which were, you know, legit excuses, right? Like, oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have the time. I don't have the access. And now somebody was really like showing up and saying, hey, like I have all these things. It's almost like I was like, yo, you say you want to do this thing, right? Do this thing full out. But I was still fearful. I was still afraid. And so like that was the first thing. And so, yes, I am very proud. Thank you, Jennifer, for saying that. Like, don't put down your music. You're absolutely right. And so I was very proud, and I am very proud looking back on that, because what year was that? That was what, 2015? Either way, it was a while ago. And so I'm going to share another song with you later to show you like the difference in when I started actually playing around and being confident in what I was making. Okay, so me and Jamal get married. Yay. And now I have like all this access to his studio and like his music and his art. And I basically inherit his studio. And so he would go to work during the day and I would be home. And so I would be at home. Just like playing around with music. No lie, with literally a little tweaking, you could put that on an EP. I would buy it. Yay. Maybe I will remake it. I'm going to say this. I will remake it. Yes. Cause I really believe in the message of that song. I do. But yes, so I would be at home playing around with music, making chords, making songs, making beats, just experimenting with stuff. And it was just like a period of just playing around. Like there was no expectations, because I knew it's almost like I was free from proper training, whatever. I don't want to use that word, but I was free from training in school. Right. And so therefore I didn't have all of these boundaries that a lot of artists have. Like they're like, oh, I can't do that because this is a whatever major fifth, or first of all, I'm probably saying all things wrong, right? They have all of these things that kind of keep them bound because they've been indoctrinated through their schooling to operate in a way that is appeasing to a certain few people. And so I was at home experimenting and like, hey, and sending the tracks to Jamal at work. I'm like, how's it sound? And he's like, I'm at work. I'm gonna listen to it later. But, and he would listen to it and he would tell me, like, encourage me to keep going. So I knew that, oh, thank you, baby. This is my husband. So I knew that my production skills were not at the place that I wanted it to be. And I thought that was getting in the way of me actually creating music. So one day I was at home. I suffer with depression sometimes. And I was feeling really depressed. And I went to this song that I remember my grandmother singing in church, going back to the roots, right? Back to the training. And Because He Lives was a song that, I feel like I'm about to cry, was a song that just kind of got me through. And like the words, again, like life is worth living just because he lives, right? And so I went back to that song and I made this a cappella version. Hi, Chris. I made this a cappella version of Because He Lives. And it had like, and I just like played around with it because I imagined how my grandmother sounded singing it. I tried to remember the chords. And even though I couldn't put it on piano, I could do it with my voice. And so I recorded that song and I sent it to my husband. And I was like, hey, what do you think of the song? And so I'm going to play just a little snippet of it here for you guys. So again, let me know if you can hear it. And if you can't, I'll try again.
God sent His Son. They called Him Jesus. He came to love, heal, and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave my Savior lives, because He lives, I can face tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm getting emotional listening to that song, but yes. Oh, shout out to you, baby. You got the phone, so thank you. But yeah, essentially, like, I just sent that to him because I was just feeling really down. I was feeling really like heavy, and it just made me go back to that hymn that stuck with me. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know He holds the future, and life is worth living just because He lives, right? And so I sent this to him. Oh, it's okay to cry. No worries. I was about to cry just now. That's why I had to stop it. But I sent that to him, and he was like, you need to share this. Like, you need to put this out there, right? And for me, I'm just playing around. I can't, like, I need a whole instrumental. I need a whole band. I need all this stuff. And he was just like, no, you need to do this. So I put it out there, and people really enjoyed the song. And I'm like, okay, wow. Like, this is what I hear in my head when I think about my grandmother singing this song. Like, it's very simple, right, to me, but to other people, they really enjoyed it. And so sometimes I think, and I'm just gonna say this, sometimes I think like little is better. Like doing, like, Stephanie's here. Stephanie has like a saying that she says, like, I'm trying to do as little as possible. Sometimes it's really good in music too. Like, just keep it simple, the message, like keep the main thing, right? Not doing all this extra stuff. Like, the extra stuff is nice, but it should be like the topping, not what the thing is made out of. You can't eat a cake made of frosting. You know what I'm saying? The cake is what makes it good. So anyway, so I sang that song. I sent it out to friends, and they enjoyed that. And so then my husband challenged me and was like, okay, you talking about you want to make an album? Let's make an album. And I'm like, okay, how am I do that? I don't have access to the stuff. I got to ask friends. I got to, learn how to do stuff. It's going to take time. So he told me to do a whole project, Stephanie, he told me to do a whole project of a cappella music. And I'm like, are people going to listen to that? I don't know. Like, and I'm thinking about like Pentatonics, like, if you all have heard them, like, they're amazing, or Afro Blue from Howard. There was a show that used to have like a lot of a cappella bands, and like they would compete and stuff like that. And so it was wonderful. I loved it. And so he was like, yeah, just do it. So I was like, well, okay, I guess we can try. And so I started putting together the project called A Bite of My Heart. And the first song that I did from A Bite of My Heart is This Love by Bob Marley. Another one was Lovely Day. So I would just like, I was just playing, I would listen to the song, and I'm like, okay, I hear this, but I want to make it sound like this. How would I do this song if I did it, right? And how do I highlight the parts of the song that I love, my favorite parts of the whole song? So for me, for Is This Love, right, it was the bass, the da 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 da, the thing that sticks out to you, the da 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 da. So I took that song and I made my own version. I'm going to play a clip of it now for you to hear. And then I start layering with other things I enjoy. I'll fast forward a little bit, but
I wanna love you and treat you right. I wanna love you every day and every night.
okay. So I wanted to play that part because, as you can see, I was a little more free, right? I was playing around more. I was not overthinking things. I was just like, okay, I'm going to start with the layer of the bass. I'm going to go to this part that I hear when I hear that song, even though it's not in the song. I'm going to add my own little vocal things, and I'm going to go into the verse, right? And so even with like the I wanna love ya. That's a classic line from Bob Marley. And I know that I can't, that I'm not Bob Marley. I'm Alicia, right? So I'm gonna do my own version of this song. And that's okay, right? And still honor Bob Marley and the Wailers. And so I did that song. And then I did Lovely Day. And then I did another song, Someday We'll All Be Free by Donny Hathaway, which is one of my favorite all-time songs ever. And so for me, doing that song was like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming because he's so amazing. But again, I just did my own little touch. So I wanted to share that with you because from the first song I let you all listen to, like me just doing that song, like, can't tell which way's right. I was being very safe. And so because I had the room to play, like I was literally home all day just making music while my husband was at work, I played around without having to worry about people judging me, right? And so I was able to create something that I liked. Hi. Yes, people will listen. Put it out, the people will show up. I agree. Because I really worried that people were going to hear these classic songs and be like, I don't know, like, I don't know, girl. Because when you do a cover of a really popular song, it's really taking a risk because people already have in their mind how the song should sound. And so when I put it out, people actually enjoyed it. And I'm like, yes. Like, so I put out the album for free, or the EP for free. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Jennifer says it's Nina Simone-esque. Ooh, that's a compliment. You tapping and scatting up sisters, Sarah and Dinah. Yes, girl, it's beautiful. Well, praise God. Thank you. Marquita said, Because He Lives, definitely one of my favorite covers by you. I love you, Marquita. I love you so much. Thank you. Jennifer says, girl, you killing me softly. That is. I appreciate that. So for that project, I put it out for free, right, on Bandcamp, because it's a free platform. And like, if people want to pay, they can give you like tips and stuff like that. But I put out a couple of songs before that, but I never really got any real money. And then people started paying me for the song. And I'm like, for the music, for the project. And I'm like, people are going to pay me for this? Like, really? Like, this is surprising to me. And so then I started saying, okay, well, maybe this is a viable option for me to be an independent artist. Maybe this is possible. Y'all had all these notes and I'm just like talking, but I'm hitting all the points. So yeah, so like it, after that validation, that gave me the validation, even though it's just money, it's not just money, right? It's really an exchange of like support and energy. Like, it's really like, oh, I see the work that you put into this music and I want to support you on that journey, right? And so that was the affirmation that I think I needed to really go all in. Like, okay, this is possible. I can do the same. So from there, I have put out multiple EPs, multiple projects with more covers, having more fun. I have put out my own personal project. I put together a podcast called Black Girls Make Music, because we know that in the music industry, much like a lot of other industries, Black women just are not represented well. So Black Girls Make Music is a platform and a podcast first, but it's a platform and a community for Black women DJs, producers, singer-songwriters, people who work in A&R, what else? Rappers, for those people to come together and be able to support one another on the journey. Because I saw like a picture of a statistic about Black women being represented in production. And like, we see them in the videos, right? We see them in the front. We see them in how the music industry says that Black women should look in the music industry, right? But you hardly ever see them like wearing, like making the big money, doing the big boss things, right? So it's really important that Black women have a place to be able to come together. And as an independent artist, I didn't really see a lot of places like that for Black women. I was like, this is looking very white. It is okay, but like, we're out here too, and we deserve to share our story. So from me playing, right? From me playing around as a kid, from me, experimenting in the studio, from me like just trying things, right? Reaching out and networking to other people, I was able to grow my independent artist career. And so, no, I'm not making millions of dollars. No, I'm not. I haven't won a Grammy. No, I haven't. And if those things happen, wonderful. But really, as an independent artist, I get to determine what my success looks like. It doesn't have to look like everybody else's success. I don't necessarily want to do the work that it takes. Like, if I get a Grammy for being myself, wonderful. But if I have to change who I am to get a Grammy, I'm okay with not ever getting a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay with not having to bend towards other people's standards of who I should be or who I should look like or what I should sound like just to be recognized and praised. There are so many artists out there who are so talented who will never get the platform they deserve because people who gatekeep don't allow them to have that platform. Which is why I believe that we should build our own table, right? Instead of begging people to be like, hey, accept me, accept who I am, look at my body, listen to my voice, accept who I am. We really have to stand in the truth that like, there's only, sadly, from the majority, there's only a certain amount of room that they will allow us to take up. Anything beyond that is going to be seen as like imposing on them or like things like that. So instead of fighting with people to like beg for their approval and their attention, their affections, I've decided to make my own route, to make my own way. And I want to encourage other Black women artists, but Black artists in general, to do your own thing, make your own way, do your own thing, be your own person, and be okay with that. That's a little side tangent. But anyway, when I put out my music project in 2020, it was called Play. And literally I was having fun. It was just a bunch of covers of songs I really enjoy. And my projects, like I was shouted out on Bandcamp's best soul projects or best soul artists of 2020. And I put out 2 albums in a single. And like, I never thought that could happen. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, oh, what? Like, I was just having fun and somebody recognized that music. And it really showed that me being myself, me doing what felt right was beneficial. There was always somebody out there, like you said, like people will listen if you put it out there, right? So if you put yourself out there, put your music out there, your art out there, whatever you're doing, if you put it out there, there's somebody who needs to hear what you have to say. You know, it might not be the majority, and that's okay. So like I said, the journey hasn't always been easy. It's hard even now. Even now, sometimes I struggle with confidence and money. And talking about, like, I'm sweating right now because I get nervous. But creating has always been a part of my life. Singing has always been a part of my life. Songwriting has always been a part of my life. And I really want to encourage other people to do the same, right? To write the music in their heart, to share the music that they want to share their messages, their arts, their photography, whatever that is, like whatever your thing is, to get it out there and to share it. And to also understand that you don't need to be trained in school to be qualified. You don't. Like, literally, when I think of the artists that I listen to coming up, Motown, I don't know, Motown artists, or, you know, even the people who came from, like, oh my gosh, Ella Fitzgerald, or, you know, all these other people that I really look up to in the music industry. I think about, like, how brilliant they were, even though they weren't classically trained, right? Like, they didn't go to school. Like, a lot of these people in Motown, they got from high school, right? They just came out of school and did this thing, but they were still brilliant. And these are still the people that we study today. So I don't want you to think that you have to, like, it's important to study your craft, whatever that means to study, but it doesn't mean that you have to go to someone's institution, get in debt and study it to be validated. You can be validated by doing your own thing. Marquita says, where can we purchase your music? Thank you, Marquita, for asking that question, because I wasn't even thinking about that. You can get my music on Bandcamp. I'm going to share this with you guys, the link. All my music is there. Some projects are free, some projects are paid. If you want to give more, you can. No pressure at all. Yes, okay, it should send. All right, so that's the link to where you can purchase my music from. And people really, this is what I will say too. It takes, I know that as consumers of art and music, we think that all somebody did was go in the studio, record a song, and that's it, and put it out, right? There's a lot of work that goes into making one song. There's a lot of work that goes into making projects, into photo shoots, and all this other stuff that it really takes to really be an artist. And I think that social media has made things look very easy. And so in turn, we criticize so many people so easily, right, about their artistry, when we really need to be showing them respect, because it takes a lot of work and effort to put that thing out there. And it's very brave to put their thing out there too, to be consumed and to be criticized and ripped apart by the media and by people. So yeah, so shout out to all my independent artists out there and people who are doing their thing. Okay, so I think if you have any questions, feel free to list them in the comments. Thank you, Marquita, again for asking that. And you can also support me here if you want to. But yes, if you have any other questions, I also have some questions that people asked me beforehand that I can answer. But while I'm reading those, you all can ask questions if you have any. If you don't, there's no pressure at all. But yes, so the first question I had was, how do you network as a DIY artist? Like, how do you start to network, meaning like reach out to other people? How do you like brush elbows with the right people in your industry? And for that, I say, like, being generous is the number one tip I have to give. Like, just being kind, just being genuinely interested in other people, right? Like, so as artists, like, we're kind of like, we can be like really recluse. Like, we can just be like these crabs in our little hermit shells, like, you know, doing our thing. We really have to come outside of ourselves and experience other people in order to network. And so a lot of us are like introverts and like, I don't really feel like doing that, you know, but really just being genuinely kind, genuinely supportive, like not looking for anything in return. Just be a human being, be yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it really is that simple. Like, just being kind, just being a friend. The next thing I would say is to reach out to other artists in your own circles or other artists you look up to. I would also say reach sideways, right? Like, I feel like Issa Rae has this down where she said when she was building her empire or her business, she was reaching up a lot, but was getting rejected a lot. And so that was very hurtful to her. But once she started reaching sideways with her friends to create, I don't know if y'all remember Awkward Black Girl on YouTube. I used to love that series. She started making magic with her friends. Like, So the resources and the people networking opportunities aren't just about you coming up. It's also about you bringing people with you so that you can create a team and you all can come up together. So I would say like look sideways, and also get your music out there. Be seen. You know what I mean? Like doing these lives for myself, like it's very uncomfortable because again, I'm an introvert and I'm like, hey, talking to you guys out there is very vulnerable. And so like, while it's hard, it's beneficial because I love connecting with other people. So yeah, like I love having deep connections with people. So yes. So that's what I would say about networking as a DIY artist. Just get out there, be kind, be generous, and be yourself, and be honest. The second question I had was, how do you find performance opportunities for performing artists? So I would say start at an open mic. Open mics were my best friend in the beginning. And then when people start seeing you around, and if your friends know you sing, they'll recommend you to other people, right? So a lot of the gigs that I got, I never asked to be a part of the gig, except for Raw Artist, which is like a local. They have like pop-ups in different cities where they put on other artists like singers, songwriters, painters, all that good stuff. But besides that, I never asked to be a part of a showcase. But because I was putting music out there, because I was building connections beyond just music, right? People thought about me. My friends recommended me. Like these are people who actually see me and want to see me win. So you'll be surprised. A lot of the gigs that come up don't even come from people you think is going to come from. It doesn't come from record execs. It doesn't come from, event coordinators. It comes from the real relationships that you actually have on an everyday basis. Hi, Dinya. Hi, happy you're back. Thank you. I'm happy to be back. Okay. I would also say, so open mics, local events. And yeah, don't underestimate building connections because the people that are in your circle will refer you. And also think about, my husband mentioned this because I was trying to figure out like answers to these questions. I sang at 6 weddings so far, including my own, which is, doesn't count, of course, but I sang at 6 weddings. But think beyond the main stage. Think beyond open mics and showcases and stuff like that. Can you sing at an elderly person's home? I don't know if you can do that now. Like that's one thing I want to do, right? Like to go to these places where people are lonely and kind of, to themselves and remind them of the music that they grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so think beyond just the main stage. Think big, think wide. You know what I mean? So yes, or sing to kids, right? Go to the library. If you know how to play guitar and you can like teach them how to wash their hands or teach them their ABCs on guitar, ask your local librarian, hey, do you have any openings where I can come and like have like a tot hour or something where, and mothers of children will love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, please give me something to do with my kid. I've been in there with them for like a year and a half. I need help. So anyway, so that's my answer to that. The third question I have is, what are some things that get in the way of becoming an independent artist? For me, fear and comparison is number one. I fear judgment. I fear what other people think. That is like one of the main holds in my life that I'm trying really hard to work out in spite of, because the thing about fear, I don't think that fear ever really goes away. Fear is necessary for survival. Like if we didn't have fear, we would kill ourselves. But I also feel like we have to tell fear like, hey, you're doing this because you're trying to keep me safe, but I'm safe. I'm fine. I'm not going to die if I share my music. I'm not going to die if I reach out to somebody and they say no to me. It sucks, right? It hurts, but I'm not going to die. It's not the worst thing in the world. So I think sometimes fear and comparison for me, comparing myself to other people, I automatically, again, going back to that childhood self where I'm listening to people sing in churches and I'm like, oh, I can't run like her. I can't wail like her. I ain't got the girth, you know what I'm saying? Like to sing like this person. And instead of comparing myself to them, I should just give them their flowers and be like, you know what? She's wonderful, but so am I. Like I have talents that she doesn't have and she has talents that I have. It's not a competition. It's not a race. So it's a constant reminding of that of myself. Lack of knowledge is one that keeps people just don't know what they don't know. You know what I mean? If you think that you have to pay money to get in the studio and record a song, you're going to think that, oh, I have to save up thousands of dollars to record my song. But if somebody doesn't teach you like, hey, actually, all you need is this to create. I'm pointing over here because my studio is over here. But all you need is this to record music. If somebody finds that out, then, oh, okay. So sometimes the knowledge is not there for us to be successful as independent artists. Some resources that have helped me, Bandcamp, again, even if you can't get your music on Spotify, Bandcamp is free. You can upload music there and share the tracks. People can give you money for your music. And they take a cut. I think the cut is small. And PayPal also takes a cut because they send it to PayPal. But beyond that, that's better to make music that way because on Spotify, for example, if someone streams your music, you only make 0.004 cent a stream. Yes, 0.004 cent a stream. So you do the math on that. I'm not, because that's crazy. But 0.004 cent a stream is not going to be able to like get you any money for your music. These independent platforms like Bandcamp are best for starting out artists because yeah, if you're getting millions of streams, then you can see some real money. But streaming is not where it's at for a lot of independent artists. So Bandcamp, Patreon, SoundCloud, other artists, like again, go in flocks. Don't go alone. Go together. And then I also recommend the DIY Musician Conference if you can go. It's actually free this year. So let me share this with you all. It's put on by CD Baby, which is another platform that gets people's music to Spotify and stuff like that. But me and my husband went in Austin, Texas when we were RVing in 2019. And it was really helpful. You can meet a lot of people, but you can also like learn a lot about your yeah, it's free. So you can learn a lot about your our own artistry. They had platforms for producers and for all this other stuff. So here is the sign up if you want to go find that out. It's free, like I said. It's virtual this year, so everyone can go to it. So yes, but it was really helpful. All right, one more question. It says, what other artists inspired me to do what I do? Like I said, my family first, right? My mother, my father, my grandmother, my aunties, them first. Like before I could name an artist, I knew my family and I knew they sang. Beyond that, they also taught me harmonizing, arranging, vocal play. You know what I mean? And beyond that, the Temptations is my favorite group of all time. I love Motown. I love 70s and 60s music. I love 80s R&B because of my parents, and gospel. Those are the main like places where I really get my. But I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to rock, like when I could actually like turn the dial on the radio when I was old enough to do that. Rock, even some country. I do love club music. Shout out to Baltimore. I also love, and I guess like Jersey too, because it's kind of like the same sound. But I also love electronic kind of music. So I feel like all the music that I take in influences the music that I make. Even like the musical choices that I make are influenced by what music I listen to. So yeah. And again, like I said, like Ella Fitzgerald, she's my favorite vocalist ever. Ella Fitzgerald, hands down. Like it's just so pure and so clean. Her choices when she scats, it's just beautiful. So yeah. Another question is, and again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them down. If you don't, it's okay. What do you need to be an independent artist? Okay. Number one, you need music. You need music or you need something, like whatever you create, right? Number two, I think you need a why. Why are you making music? Because it can be an arduous journey, but you need that why to hold you down to be like, okay, I'm committed because of this. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it, right? So one of the whys for me is my ancestors, the people that I come from, my aunties who have passed, my grandmother who has passed, and the ancestors that I come from. The reason why I have the voice that I have, the reason why I sound the way I sound is because of the people who came before me. And so they didn't have, opportunities to record their music on tape or on track or whatever that is. So I'm making this music for them too, right? But also I'm making this music because I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in the message I'm sharing. I believe in the people that I'm touching with my music. And I believe in the healing that takes place when I sing and when I make music. So equipment wise though, what you need a mic if you want to do a home studio situation. Okay. You need a mic, but if you have a friend with this, you don't need this. A computer, an audio interface, basically, right? So I'm trying to keep it in layman's term because my husband is giving me these words and I'm like, okay, I need like the basic. An audio interface is a device that takes your sound from the microphone and puts it to the computer. That's it. It just takes the sound from the mic and puts it on the computer, right? You need headphones or a monitor to listen to the music back that you're recording. You need a program or software. So some people use, what is the one from Apple? I can't even think of the name. If y'all can think of it, let me know. But we use FL Studios. It's a paid program, but there are some free programs out there that you can make. And I think with like Apple products, it comes free on your phone and computer. Oh my gosh, what is it called? Like Band Yard? Nope. That sounds like a go-go band. Oh, GarageBand. Thank you, baby. Thank you. GarageBand. Yes. So you can use GarageBand on your computer. If you have Apple products, it comes free. You can make music on there. And you also need somewhere to put it, right? So after all said and done, you need somewhere to host your music. It could be your website. It could be Bandcamp, like I said, so people can pay you for it. It could be SoundCloud, which is a platform you can put on for free, but you have to pay after a certain amount of hours you use. It's silly. Or you can use Spotify. So places like Spotify, iTunes, and I'm not gonna get too deep into this because I'm gonna make this a whole other video because there's a lot there. But all these places that you stream music from that they pay 4 cents to the artist for, you need a program to put your music up there. So I use DistroKid. DistroKid is affordable. I'll just share it with you all. Is affordable and you can like upload your music to the platform with no fuss. as long as you wrote the music and stuff like that, you don't have to worry about a whole lot of things. But yes, so let's see. I'm going to share this link with you all. It is a referral program. So that means that I get a cut. You don't have to pay extra, but I get a benefit for sharing this with you all. So this is what I use. Okay. All right. Jennifer says, please put the links in the description, please. Please. I hate that I have to go. No. It's 12. Listen, it's midday. I'm sorry. I love your story. Oh, yay. I feel like it's my story. Awesome. You're making me feel like really being creative again. Please be creative again. That's the reason why I'm doing all this. That makes all this worth it. It makes me so happy. But yes, I will definitely put the links in the description for you all after the stream is over. So yes, everything that I'm sharing here, I'll share in the links. Okay. So yeah, you need somewhere to put it. So you can use that to upload your music, and it's very affordable. Some of these other places like CD Baby, the people I mentioned before, you can pay like a lot of money per song that you upload. With DistroKid, I pay $35 a year to put my music on these platforms. So it's awesome. Oh, thank you, Marquita. Thank you for sharing. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And the last question I had is, how do I work through fear? How do I work through fear? And thank you for being here, Marquitas. So how do I work through fear? Like I said, fear is inevitable. I feel like, again, if you are well, you should be afraid of something. Like if you're mentally well and stable, it's mentally stable you're mentally stable if you're afraid of something. If you're not afraid of anything, that's like literally like you need to go to like therapy for stuff like that. However, again, fear, I feel like is well-wishing. I always say this. I feel like fear is really our friend. It's trying really hard to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us protected from harmful situations. So when you go to reach for a hot stove, you remember what it feels like to burn your hand. I do. My first memory is me grabbing my mom's hair curlers, right? After she told me not to grab them. And I will never do that ever again because of fear. I don't want to feel that pain anymore, right? And when I was a child, I didn't have that fear because I'm like, I'm a chested, I'm rebellious. But now I have that fear of being burned. In the same way, our fear remembers us being rejected. It remembers us being hurt and beat down. It remembers us having our heart broken, right? And so fear is like, no, we can't do this because remember what happened last time? And so even in artistry, when I want to share my music, that same fear is there. Like, oh, do you remember what happened when you were rejected? Do you know what will happen if you share your music and you go all in and you fail and you got to live on your mom's couch? Do you know how that's going to feel? Like these are real fears, right? Do you know what's going to happen if you end up a washed up somebody and your music never affects anybody else? You know what I mean? Like, so the fears are real. However, I have enough, wit about me to know that stuff may never happen. And even if it does, I won't die. Like, I feel like fear is really trying to protect us from death at the end of the day, like from dying. And if it's not a life and death situation, I have to make that decision to go through fear. It's not really about working around it, right? You can't, like that song, like you can't go over it. You can't go under it. You must go through it, right? Fear is something you really have to go through. You really have to just do it afraid. That's the only way that you get brave, is by doing it afraid. I wish there was a shortcut. Some people take liquid courage. Some people do what they got to do, like to numb the fear a little bit. But the fear is always there. It's good. It's our friend. But again, we have to be that friend to be like, hey, like, and I don't believe in like, I think Stephanie, you talked about this before, like punching fear in the face. Like, I don't believe in that. I believe that you just take fear and put it in the passenger seat and say, all right, fear, you're going to have to calm down, but I got this, right? Like, I have this. And you don't have to do big things to, I guess, beat your fear, to work through your fear. Take small steps. Do small things. Like, okay, I made this song. I'm going to share it with my friend. This is what I did. I'm going to share it with my friend. I'm going to share it with Jamal, my husband. I'm going to share it with my family. Maybe not, because my family be clowning me. No, but I love them. I'm just joking. So, or I share it with, a small amount of people to build up my courage and my self-esteem and my validation. And if they give me any feedback, I know it's going to be kind, right? I'm creating a safe space for me to build my courage. Even if they say like, yeah, I like it, but this track, they're not going to say like, girl, this is trash. I'll just throw it all away, because they love me. So the criticism they're going to give me is not going to be painful. Well, it might be, but it's okay. And then go beyond there, then start sharing with other people. So do what you have to do to work through your fear, but understand that your fear is your friend. It's okay. It's okay. And really get to the heart of that fear. Again, get to the truth of it. So yes, the fear is if I put out the music, everybody's going to hate me. I'm going to be embarrassed. Everybody's going to unsubscribe. People are going to leave horrible reviews on my music. And so the truth is like, even if that happens, what then? What does that mean? What does that mean? And that means, right, that I'm a failure, that I'm washed up, that I'm not talented, that I will never be successful, right? But what is the truth to that? The truth is that I am talented, even if nobody celebrates me. The truth is that I believe in my music more than anybody else does. You know what I mean? Like, that's the truth. So marrying the truth with the fear is I feel like how I work through my own fear. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll clarify it. But yes, get to the heart of that fear. What does that fear mean? Oh, I'm a failure. Are you a failure though? Maybe if you didn't try, maybe that would be a failure. Is literally like you failed to do something. You failing is not, oh, you put something out there and somebody didn't like it. No, that's a win. You put it out there. That's a win. So yeah, just marrying the truth with the fear. Okay. So thank you all for spending the last hour with me. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was inspiring. Even if you're not a musician, do your thing. I believe in you. I see you. I celebrate you. I know how difficult it can be to really pursue your thing, to try something new, to go about something differently than what everybody else says that you should go, and do it anyway. I believe in you. Again, if you're an independent artist, be sure to download the free toolkit in the description. If you're a Black Girl Creative, download the free Black Girl Creative toolkit below. Yeah, let me know what you think. Share this with a friend. And until next time, you all, I will talk to you all soon. If you want to work with me one-on-one, be sure to email me at alicia.renice@gmail.com. Again, that's alicia.renice@gmail.com. And I will talk to you all in the next video. Okay, love you. Bye.